An ancient extraterrestrial rock is causing controversy here on Earth. It's now in the middle of a dispute between First Nations people and the Royal Alberta Museum. Gareth Hampshire has the story.
This is the rock that fell from the sky hundreds of years ago. The site might have looked something like this, a fireball over Alberta and Saskatchewan 4 years ago. This meteorite was discovered by First Nations people. They thought they could see a face on the rocky surface, and not just any face.
Some people say, well, that's the Creator's face.
Considered a message from the spirit world, the rock was placed on a hill for ceremonies near what's now called Hardesty, until it was taken away by missionaries in the 1800s, a sore spot for some 150 years later.
The prophecy goes that if that rock was ever to disappear, then we would experience famine, pestilence, diseases, and basically death. That's basically what has happened to our people.
Cree people called this meteorite the flying rock. To them it's sacred with spiritual meaning. But weighing in at over 300 pounds, it's one of the largest in Canada and a national treasure for scientists.
It's about 4.5 billion years old, the oldest things that many of us will ever touch.
About a decade ago, the museum became the meteorite's caretaker when it was returned to Alberta from a university in Toronto. Back then, it asked Alberta's First Nations where the rock should go.
It wasn't unanimous. It was unclear. But what was very clear is that the stone belongs to all First Nations, and the elders believed that it would be inappropriate to return it to just one.
The museum waives admission fees for people who want to see the rock for spiritual reasons. But Vincent Steinhauer, who still sings about the flying rock in Cree, doesn't want to do that in a museum.
Well, the rock should be right here.
Blue Quills College in St. Paul's planning a ceremonial building here, what they hope would be a permanent home for the meteorite.
We have a way of worship. We were given that way of worship, and we should be able to be allowed to do that.
The museum says it hasn't had any recent requests for the stone's return, so will continue to display it until all First Nations agree on where it should go. Gareth Hampshire, CBC News, Edmonton.